brought down to the levels prevalent to East Asian countries in the early 1990s.
Srinivasa Ramanujan Center by Shastra University in memory of the great man Sri V. of City Union Bank. This is one among several intellectual attempts made by the university to stand up to its noble motto that envisages progress through quality education. It would only be proper on our part to begin this wonderful session, extraordinarily important session, because to deliver the 9th Sri V. Narayan Memorial Lecture, an intellectual giant, a very inspiring personality. Therefore, it would be proper on our part to begin this memorable lecture with invocation. May I request the audience to stand in devotional silence as our college choir sings a prayer song.
त्वजत परेष्वक्रममाक्रमणं मैत्रीं भजत अखिल हृजेत्रीं मैत्रीं भजत अखिल हृजेत्रीं जननीं पृथ्वी कामदुःखासे जननी पृथ्वी कामदुःखासे जनको देवः सकल दयालो आलो दाम्य ददत दयत्वं जनता दाम्य ददत दयत्वं जनता श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां श्रेयो भूयात् सकल जनानां.
Members of the board of the City Union Bank, Dr. Mrs. Isher Ahluwalia, special invitees, friends from the electronic and print media, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I'm extremely happy to welcome all of you for this 9th Sri V. Narayanan Memorial Lecture. On behalf of the management of the university, on behalf of the faculty and students of the university, on behalf of the entire citizens of Kumbakonam, on behalf of the City Union Bank family and family members of Sri V. Narayanan. And I'm extremely happy to do this because last evening when we were traveling from the airport at Trichy, we had a few discussions on variety of issues. And one issue that we spent a relatively longer time was the role of SMEs in the economic activity here. And the challenge for the SMEs nowadays is an access to finance from the public sector banks, and that they were relying more on finance provided by the NBFCs, and significantly support came from the private banks, and more particularly from City Union Bank, and more specifically from a person who practiced the profession of banking based on relationship and not based on contracts. And I'm talking about the late Mr. V. Narayanan, who transformed this entire ecosystem here, which was driven by the SME community here, which formed the economic spine, not only of this ecosystem, it's growing to make a very significant impact on the economic spine of our country. And that is why we, as also a benevolent banking beneficiary of the City Union Bank, we thought it would be a fitting honor to conduct this annual lecture series in the memory of Sri V. Narayanan. And we have maintained the continuum to invite some of the best some of the best from the intellectual capital who can inspire an audience, who can leave the speech with a very strong message. And continuing that tradition this evening, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us Sri Montek Singh Ahluwalia, the Deputy Chairman, Planning Commission of India, who brings with him an accumulated wisdom, a very distinguished economist. He brings with him an experience serving the government in various capacities in the Finance Ministry, in the World Bank, in the IMF, and in his current capacity as the Deputy Chairman of the Planning Commission of India. And I'm extremely happy that he is here amidst us this evening. And I request all of you to put your hands together and welcome Sri Mr. Montek Singh Ahluwalia. And welcome Dr. Ishar Ahluwalia as well. In fact, when we printed the invitation, most of you who read the invitation, you would have seen that the topic for this evening's discussion is the emerging role of India in the global architecture. But last night over dinner, we engaged in a mini conversation, and Mr. Ahluwalia rightly suggested, you see the global economic problems, the world has its problems. Now, why should we have a lecture on this? Why don't we concentrate on the problems that India has at present? So can I talk about Indian economic problems and solutions? And he made a very right observation on that count, and I immediately jumped at that opportunity and I said, you have to talk on this topic, because to understand what the problem itself is part of the solution. When the economic crisis happened in 2008, Der Spiegel, a German magazine, they had a roundtable discussion amongst 5 Nobel laureates in economics, people like Joseph Stiglitz, Paul Samuelson, Robert Lucas, Ed Phelps, and Reinhard Selter. All of them were discussing on the reason for this global economic crisis in 2008. And if you read the article, one said it was the bank, other said it was the regulator, one said it was the state, the other said it was the market. And at the end of the article, none of them could agree to one particular reason as to why this economic crisis actually manifested in the form it did in 2007. So when they could not concur on one single reason for the crisis, leave alone the solution. So that makes this topic so relevant for this evening's discussion. And on the solution side, I very strongly believe that if India is able to come with a solution to the economic problem it has, it is not only going to pull out the country from its problem, it is also going to pull the entire world from the problem that it has. And there is a contextual relevance. Mr. P. Chidambaram, the finance minister, a few months back delivered a lecture in the Harvard Business School where he was talking about the shift of the balance of power, the economic power from the west to the east, and very specifically mentioned the emerging role of India and China. And for most of us today, we know that the story of India, the richness that India is experiencing today is not new to it. It is not a rags to riches story, but a story of an empire that is striking back. And India has been a country that has occupied the #1 spot in terms of its economic richness. And it is that story that is going to get repeated itself. And if it gets repeated as early as possible, then there is every potentiality that not only India, the entire world will come out of this crisis. So with this background, I'm extremely happy that we have with us this evening Mr. Montek Singh Ahluwalia to deliver the 9th Sri Narayanan Memorial Lecture. And I, on behalf of all the people of Kumbakonam, welcome all the members of the audience, and I look forward to an enlightening and inspiring lecture from Mr. Ahluwalia. Thank you very much.
Shastra University to honor our chief guest with a memento. Thank you, sir. May I now invite Sri S. Balasubramanian, Chairman, City Union Bank Limited, to present a memento to our Honorable Chief Guest. I request Madam Alwalia to appear on the stage to receive a memento. Thank you, sir. India's emerging role in global economic architecture. The 9th Sri V. Narayan Memorial Lecture begins now. May I request Sri Montek Singh Ahluwalia, Deputy Chairman, Planning Commission, Government of India, to take over.
Dr. Vaidya Subramaniam, Dean, Sastra University, Dr. N. Kamakodi,